A suspicious spike in Tesla sales has experts in the industry scratching their heads. It started with a deadline in January for Ottawa's rebate program on electric vehicles that allegedly prompted a mad rush to buy EVs. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has been crunching the numbers. And Adrian, do they add up?
Sandy, a spike in purchases was to be expected, though the reported sale of 8,600 Teslas equaling $43 million in rebates at 4 Canadian Tesla locations has sparked plenty of questions. In the west end of Toronto, this one Tesla location alone reported selling more than 1,200 vehicles on January 11th, totaling more than $4 million in rebates. So we paid them a visit to try and get some clarity on the staggering number of sales.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. My name's Adrian Gobriel. I'm a journalist with CTV News.
Okay.
There was a large increase in the number of sales processed through the EV rebate program. Just trying to get an understanding of perhaps what maybe some of the reasons were behind that. Did that take place, or is that a backlog of paperwork going through? You can't share any comments? Is there any manager you think that might be able to?
I am the manager.
Our multiple emails to Tesla's headquarters have been met with silence.
It defies logic that these corporate stores of Tesla and Tesla shareholders and Elon Musk would be able to sell 8,600 vehicles in a single weekend. There's something highly unusual about this.
CTV News has gathered the data from Transport Canada's records. Canada's EV subsidy has been wildly popular, with more than 500,000 vehicles purchased through the program. On Monday, January 13th, it was paused, just 72 hours after Transport Canada signaled that the program would soon end. Over those 3 days is when 4 Tesla locations, one in Quebec, 2 in Toronto, and 1 in Vancouver, claimed $43 million in rebates.
So it seems that somebody at Tesla may have been tipped off, or the registration gaming of this may be inappropriate. We don't have the facts yet, but what we're asking for is that Transport Canada look into this.
The Minister of Transport has pledged to do just that, according to the Canadian Automobile Dealers Association. As of this hour, we're still awaiting a response from Tesla. Sandy?
Okay, Adrian, thank you.
Elon Musk's stock. I mean, who wouldn't invest in Elon Musk? You got to be kidding.
All right, so you're calling.
Take a look at this picture. I'll just read it for you. Boycott Bud Light. Boycott Target. Boycott the NFL. Red Hat. MAGA Red Hat. Big campaigns on social media. On Fox News and the likes. Even the current President of the United States of America joined in. Look at the last one. Angry. Boycott Tesla. Fury. So much so, a senior member of the current Trump administration rushes to Fox News to say, buy Tesla shares. And there's outrage. The current Attorney General, Pam Bondi, legislation, you can't say you don't like Tesla. No freedom of speech, by the way. It's very strange, isn't it? Very, very strange. Soon, won't even be allowed to say the word boycott. The craziest thing about this, by the way, is those who don't really like the Green New Deal, electric cars, etc. I mean, I'm just trying to get my head around it because I'm confused. Please, if anyone could shed a little bit of light on the hypocrisy, the contradictions, and the fact that MAGAs are now into EVs, comment section all yours.
You're not going to be Carrie shopping for Tuckum swimsuits at Target?
I'm not, but I may be calling on America to go into every Target
with our call to action cards, which you can find on our Instagram at @thebattlecry_US. We are going to challenge you, America. If you're watching this, I think you're interested. We have a June challenge for you where we want you to use correct pronouns, and you can look at this printout, print these out, cut them up, and drop them everywhere in Target and every single store that is pushing the cult onto our children. Let them know how you feel and where you stand.
And thanks to social media, a lot of people have been walking through these Targets and showing all the different segments and really calling it out, which really helps to spread a lot of the information about what's going on with Target. But it didn't stop there. Forgiato Blow, who is a friend of both of ours, and we've actually had an opportunity to have lunch with him and one day and get to meet him. He's got some great music. He even put out a video about Target.
You guys know, I think Elon Musk has done a tremendous amount of good. I think Starlink is one of the more exciting modern discoveries or creations that there is. I, again, reiterate, I draw the line at arson. No one should be setting cars on fire. But I would argue, no, this is an important point. It's a free market point. But also, we talked about Dylan Mulvaney, a single trans influencer who was on a single can of beer for months. And that can of beer set the conservative movement on proverbial fire, rooting against at least half an American company, the Anheuser-Busch side of things. Kid Rock out there doing target practice with Budweiser cans, people vowing to decimate that brand. And Dylan Mulvaney has much less of an impact on people's lives than Elon Musk does. So is that okay? Or that was wrong too, and everyone wants to mea culpa over that? It was one can of beer with one transgender person on it.
No one was intimidated not to buy Bud Light.
Really? Then why did it drop?
No,
why did they lose market value?
Because it wasn't Dylan Mulvaney. It was the marketing person who denigrated the people who drank the beer.
Really, Dylan Mulvaney didn't get denigrated?
She did. He did.
Sorry.
I correct myself.
Much as the base is angry at these woke corporations, and I get it, I know you get it, aren't you doing the very thing to these companies that conservatives are mad at left-wing leaders for doing, using government to punish citizens for political wrongthink?
No, not at all. So taking Anheuser-Busch, I mean, we're not punishing them. They departed from business practices by indulging in social activism. That has caused a huge problem for their company, and their stock price has gone down. Well, our pension fund in Florida holds Anheuser-Busch InBev stock. So it's actually hurt teachers, it's hurt cops, it hurts firefighters who depend on that pension fund. And so
didn't you support the boycott against them?
No, I did, but that's just as a personal thing. But I mean, we didn't have like the state government, necessarily, putting power about it. But as an American, I said I'm not doing I'm not doing Bud Light.
Well, I'll give a little insight here. So, we were just covering the USFL. We had one eye on that. But Will and I also, yesterday after the show, took in a Yankees-Twins game over here at Yankee Stadium. Had a great time. My wife was there. Rob O'Neill and his wife were there. We just enjoyed the game, which is much quicker now, by the way. Baseball's made serious improvements. But the reason I talk about that is we were offered the opportunity. Bud Light is the staple beer at the stadium, Budweiser and Bud Light. And where we were, the Bud Light cooler was full, and everybody was going for the alternative, which they ran out of, which was a local IPA, and they had to get more, but the Bud Light boycott thing and what they did with Dylan Mulvaney has soaked in, and it wasn't just us that weren't doing it. It was lots of other people around us.
And you all said that the guys even selling the beer that walk up and down the aisles, they weren't selling as much, it appeared.
Lonely guys.
I know. So the production cost for this movie, $145 million. That excludes the marketing expenses, which you see Barbie everywhere. I mean, you can't get away from it. A lot of, different organizations are partnering with Barbie to really promote this film. But what's your take?
I got to say, I had to laugh at the Ken scene because I always did when I was a young girl. I always thought that Barbie was a lot smarter than Ken. You know what I mean? So I feel I'm going to take a page from Ginger Gates, Matt Gates' wife, who basically says that, don't go watch the movie because when I was growing up, Barbie was about feminine empowerment. It was about limitless opportunities. I will say, I think it seems like it's going to be a fun movie. Like, I think for my girls who they don't really play with Barbies, they really didn't even when they were younger. If they want to go see it, why not? I just think at this point, I'm boycotting so many things, I'm running out of things to boycott.
Honestly, it is getting ridiculous. There's something really remarkable happening right now. I'm not sure people have really quite gotten their arms around this. We are seeing this organic bottom-up movement against Musk's signature company, Tesla. Some activists just put up a website with a simple message, right? Sell your Teslas, dump your stock. And then an entire Tesla takedown movement has sprung up in response. They've got a map where all the protests are planned all across the country. It's been happening for about a month. This weekend alone, there are more than 100 protests planned at dealerships, Tesla dealerships across the country, from Brooklyn to Toledo, Dallas to Grand Rapids, Raleigh, dozens more. There are even, as you might see there, a handful planned in Canada and the UK. And I'm going to tell you something. I wager next weekend there will be even more, and the weekend after that more. Because this is growing every single day. And it's not Democratic leadership in Congress organizing the protests. It's just everyday folks who are fed up and want to make their voices heard. And it's having an insanely outsized effect. I mean, Tesla's sales are just cratering. The stock price has seen all of its post-election gains vanish. Musk's personal wealth has declined by more than $125 billion since the beginning of the year. That's because of this. And that's why Donald Trump had to turn the White House into a car lot this week and cut an ad for his co-president's fleet of vehicles. While the Attorney General of the United States effectively tried to threaten folks with jail time if they voiced their dissatisfaction with Musk's company.
If you're going to touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything, you better watch out because we're coming after you.
Wow.
And
Well,
if you're funding this, we're coming after you. We're going to find out who you are.
If you go to a dealership? No. We've all got a First Amendment right to stand on a sidewalk with signs outside a dealership. Doesn't matter what Pine Bondi says. By all accounts, this is not being funded by some big funder. It's a grassroots movement. Some people are organizing. They're putting up a website. And at any rate, it doesn't seem like those scare tactics are working. I would hazard they only make people want to protest more.